Hello and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. This week, the Vrutech mission commences, probably, once the Frontispiece's guest is fully secured. Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, your friendly neighborhood game master, and joining me are...
Hello, I'm Drew, and I'll be playing Cato Burke, otherwise known as Hecate, who asks and makes us ask, who fixes the fixer?
Hi, I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Callisto Armitage, but that's officer to you.
I'm Dez, and I will be playing Matchstick, who will be appearing mostly on screen, but not as themselves.
And my name is Nick, and I will be playing Ing, also known as Ohm, although I'm not sure that he's told anybody else that, so he should probably tell his companions that before they get started with the secret mission.
We have gone over the necessity of crime names. This has been established. Well, thanks,
good.
Players. Let's get right into it with our recap of last time, courtesy of Ing.
Right. Well, when you last joined us, we were mostly preparing for this big mission coming up, where we're going to be breaking into some place and recovering something. Details to be determined. So my companions were busy. Byrne laying out an escape plan and getting files and credentials of the employees that work there. Cato, meanwhile, was just working on some general fixery type things with Bronwy. Details to be determined later, narratively speaking. He also was training with Cal with a gun, which worries me. I certainly hope that this doesn't turn to violence. And meanwhile, Cal was being her usual dogged detective self, met with Ramirez. And Ramirez was saying that they've been looking into Law Zero because they've been showing up more in Selden District. And there's a possible connection between Law Zero, the android crime syndicate, and this bidder that showed up at this auction recently. In any case, we also learned through Cal and her connections that Lou Tupper, head of Polytech Security Solutions, has been buying up 3 security drones in the last 2 days, and the heat's certainly coming on. They're looking into this fire at the auction house, and that's why Bronwy is feeling the heat and crashing for the time being the back room of the Frontispiece. She's been doing something with cult symbols and herbs and things like that, and seems to be in a bit of a cold war with Byrne. Seems to be treating Byrne like a child, which, if we're just examining the facts of the situation, is true. But that's not something that I would willingly mutter in front of Byrne. In any case, we ended the last episode learning from Bronwy about kit bashes, which I'm very interested in. This is kind of an amalgamation of spare parts into a tiny little droid. Nobody knows quite who's making them or why. Very difficult to track that. But we also learned that the top that was covering our little stowaway from the auction, not only was that slashed through, but there's been some chewing marks or something on the mesh beneath. It's very worrisome. Good thing we took those extra precautions, but they may or may not be enough.
Well, thank you so much. That does get us right to where we were. So, being me, I did give us something to worry about right there at the end that isn't getting started right away with our undertaking to solve K&B's problem with Vrutech, but we rejoin the action pretty much as Kato inspects the damage to the tarp and the Faraday cage mesh underneath it in the back room of the Frontispiece. This being sometime in the morning after the commencement of business hours on Monday, the 13th of January, 2020.
So I'm inspecting. Is Gorister already here, it being a business day?
Let's say Gorister is here, probably sullenly nursing a coffee, if I had to guess.
I make fleeting eye contact in a way that unmistakably means you will be working soon. But then I dive in and take as close a look as I can at this, and also send a quick note to Burn saying, "There's a problem."
So, inspection-wise,
What can I tell? Can I tell? Does it look like the damage was done by anything that I fully understand the nature of?
the tarp's material is parted but not melted, so it was probably something that was, applying mechanical pressure and not like a, heat or other EM radiation source. The mesh underneath, I said last time it looked chewed, and that is kind of what you get. There seems to be a regular shaped implement, not unlike, teeth or claws or something, that was used to repeatedly kind of try to tear at it. The mesh is loose enough that this didn't seem to work especially well, which may be why the culprit is no longer around. The countermeasures that you all had put in place last time, having failed to stop this intrusion, is particularly worrisome because, nothing's perfect, but, between you and Gorister and Ing and Burn, we're pretty thorough.
I convey all of this and I upgrade to the group chat
Yeah.
and say, so here's the situation, and the immediate question is, well, there's two. What the fuck? And is it time to introduce Bronwee to the baby?
I text back. Let's not call it that. Don't you have security cams?
A multitude. Did we catch anything? This to Burn.
Did we catch anything?
This is going to be for you some kind of clever roll. Let me check and see here what your specialities that might apply are. I think that this is going to be a clever plus stealth in this case, because you are having to rely mostly on just visually assessing the data.
That is a 10.
You are certain that there is something, foul play afoot here, because obviously something should have shown up. You can even, if you scrub back carefully, find a frame where everything looks normal and then a frame where it looks like it does now next to each other. But it seems like someone or something has used a tool that is quite a bit more sophisticated and effective than anything that you are aware of, because it seems like it would have had to have been doing this, if not absolutely in real time, then like very quickly after the fact, based on the timestamp. And that is a imprecise science at this point.
And further, it means that they're in our network.
Yeah, that they can access your cameras and or footage storage. Hopefully not both, but potentially.
So there's having cameras and then there's having footage.
Why, that is worrisome. As the other question, I think it's time to read Bronwee in. Either we trust her or we don't, and if we don't trust her, then it's nonsense that we're having to stay over.
I respond with a thumbs up.
I don't respond, but in person, Kato gets an extremely sour look and a sharp nod.
That is so much better than I had expected or indeed hoped for. I nod and try to look sour in return, try to look hesitant, which I am not.
I roll my
And-
eyes.
There were customers, if I recall, that we're going to have to do something about.
Yeah. Just one person in the front, but you were in the middle of a conversation when Bronwyn came in and said, "It wasn't me. I didn't do it."
Yeah. I walk back out. I say, I'll meet you in the back in just a moment. I've got capitalism and all. If that transaction passes without incident, then we can sort of alight it. But,
Yeah.
In the meantime,
customer...
Bronwyn and I are just sort of looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Probably taking turns talking to Gorister.
I was going to say, it's actually Bronwyn looks at you and gives you a sort of nod and a polite smile, and then thinks better of maintaining anything approaching eye contact, and starts asking Gorister about coffee alternatives that Gorister has not tried. You sell the customer the thing that they came to buy, and you head into the back, and
the front door now says we're on lunch break, regardless of what time it is.
I'm gonna say 10:37.
I scribble a B in front of the
lunch break.
Lunch break.
The one about second lunch.
Yeah.
So this episode is now just going to be titled "Gone Blunchin'."
Yeah. I am overdue for my seasonal Gravity Falls rewatch as it happens.
It's that time of year.
Lunchables.
Lunchables. That sounds vile.
Moving right along. I go back. I work my way back to the social event of the season in the back room.
Gorister has finished his coffee and is looking sourly, in fact, almost identically to the expression that Byrne had a couple minutes ago, but Gorister's is directed at the tarp. That is just whatever the grumpy version of contemplating is. This
ruminating,
this rent in the tarp.
So I say, well, all right. Thanks for coming to me right away. And we, as far as I'm aware, had this under control until apparently we didn't. At this point, like a magician, I pull the tarp.
I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. I'm going to make a roll for Bronwyn.
Yeah, what is Bronwyn's reaction?
I think the dice are determining that.
Yeah, Bronwyn stares blankly at the Faraday cage-covered lump, and then she says, a little hesitantly, not to be impolitic, but what the fuck am I looking at?
Well, we can answer that up to a point. It's the thing that everyone's freaking out about.
Before you finish that sentence, she goes, motherfucking piece of god damn it, son of a... Okay, cool, thanks.
So you're following. Great, excellent.
Is it reciting pi?
It is not reciting pi currently. It is totally inert. So she sort of passes her hands over her face in the universal gesture of, okay, this sucks, but I have to do something at this point. And she says, she says, okay, all right. Am I the only one who did not know this fucking thing was here?
I think this is a perfect time for me to arrive.
Yeah. That's about perfect. Yeah, you come in time to hear Bronwyn say that.
I look at her and
You've been-
nod,
yeah.
but it's unclear whether it's agreeing or agreeing with her question.
She sits down on one of Gorister's tools, and Gorister makes a sound but doesn't say anything. And Bronwyn goes, "Oh, okay, all right, okay. So, just to be like totally clear here, I've been laying low
In
10 feet
possibly the most dangerous
from-
place you could have chosen, yes.
She points in Burns' direction, nodding, and goes, "All right, okay. Well, I guess if I didn't know 10 feet from it, then probably everybody else didn't know, so I'm gonna try not to be too angry about it." Takes a deep
When
breath.
you
and
ask
lets
if you're
it
the
out.
only one who didn't know, in this room, yes, and that includes Gorister, and you can be quite mad about that. But if you're asking at large, nobody knows in the relative sense.
Other than whoever cut the fucking tarp.
She's nods and points at Burn again and rubbing her temples. And she goes, "Yeah, other than whoever cut the fucking tarp." So,
Which is why you're getting read in on this.
right. Yes, well, thank you for letting me know. So, what is it? I mean, I know we just established that we don't really know, but what do we know about it?
It
We
recites
know-
pi.
Yeah, that.
It took a lot of bullets.
It's very strong that it recites pi, we think, when agitated, or curious, or generally awake.
The color has drained from her face when you have given this overlapping description.
It seems to be slightly mollified by reciting E, but that's not really experimentally confirmed.
She barks, laughs. She goes, "Okay, all right. So you have a creepypasta meme in your back room.
A largely bulletproof creepypasta meme. Yeah.
Oh. Well, what?
Resistant, not proof.
What's a creepypasta?
Your phone lights up. I do not visibly move.
Broadway goes, "Okay, so you know how kids like to tell each other spooky stories, like at sleepovers and stuff? Okay, imagine a bunch of people on the internet doing that and trying to creep each other out by making up stories and sort of iterating on them. That's a creepypasta. This exact device is one of those, only it's here, down to the reciting pi, and even," she sort of peers through the mesh of the Faraday cage, "even the basic shape of it. I mean, it's not a popular one, but I have seen it. I'm too online for my own fucking good."
Could you send it to
Oh,
me?
this is actually, this is helpful. I thought you meant it had the general shape of a creepy pasta, but like this is
Creepy paste.
like a direct hit.
She sort of shakes her head a little bit and pulls out her tablet computer and starts tapping away on it. She's like, "Yeah, I'll see if I can find the fucking forum post."
We sit in sullen silence.
Do you check your phone, officer?
Did you already send the exact one?
No. It's a thorough education on Slenderman.
Oh, so I make a point of pulling out my phone, glancing at it, seeing it's not the right one, and then swiping it off to the side.
A new one replaces it immediately. It's a different creepypasta altogether.
I put my phone back in my pocket.
You
What
wanted to know
is-
what they were, is the text that you receive.
I am now just contemplating what the correct collective noun for a group of Slendermen is.
Slender's man, clearly.
Well, sure, but like you mean like
A
hunting
blank
term,
of
right?
Slendermen.
Oh.
Slender Daddies?
So, in about the time it has taken us to do this little circus here, Bronwyn has started to curse again. And she just flips her tablet out of her hands and onto the floor, but she has like an engineer's case on it, so this is not an uncommon occurrence when she is frustrated. And she says, well, wouldn't you know, the fucking thing is gone. I could find the forum that it was on, I could find the topic header, but there aren't even deleted messages associated with the posts. So congratulations. You've got something in your back room that some folks with server access to the fucking Creepypasta forums want covered up. And she sits back down on Gorister's tool and puts her head in her hands.
Send it to me all the same. I'll see what I can pull up.
She nods and sighs, then removes her hands from her face and picks her tablet back up and starts, putting the links in an email for you.
That's interesting, though. I mean, I don't imagine it's often that stories made up to creep people out become, well, too real.
She sighs and nods and says, I am going to guess that in this case, the process might have gone the other way.
It's like that game about ships where the old guys who play can't stop spilling actual naval secrets.
She goes, kinda, yeah. Gorister,
It's not unlike that. Not the point.
Yeah, Gorister in this interval has quietly gone and poured himself another cup of coffee and has returned and slurps loudly at his cup of coffee and says, so, what are we going to do about it? And gestures with his cup of coffee at the device.
This is why we keep him around. That's a question. That's the question, really. We need to cover it in something that whatever did this can't do that to.
Bronwyn sits up and goes, No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to have access to that kind of material on short notice, and I don't know that it would work. Whatever this was able to get in and out while we were all here, or while enough of us were here, without anybody noticing or leaving any evidence in the footage. The only reason it seems to have given up is that it wasn't equipped correctly for the second layer here. So
it'll be back.
What we need is we need is a constant non-digital surveillance of this thing. I cannot stay awake without sleep, and I also don't have the mental fortitude to focus on this thing constantly, no matter what. But she sags and stares into the middle distance. She says, I might know something that would be helpful. How big do you think the thing that did this was?
Small.
Bronwyn nods.
Ferret-sized.
I was thinking roughly the same thing. So I don't know how well it would stand up to something, say, the size of a medium-large cat. She looks around.
Quirk an eyebrow.
And she goes, have any of you met Prolix?
Have I met Prolix?
This is totally unfamiliar to everyone present.
I cross my arms and try to look disinterested.
She goes,
I make no attempt to look disinterested.
Okay, well, I think it will actually work, so long as, we don't give Prolix a reason to leave the premises. But I do apologize for bringing him here. Take it in shifts to keep an eye on the thing, and I'll be back with Prolix in, a bit. It's hard to say how long it'll take to find him.
Sounds like our best bet.
She sighs
Thanks.
and nods as
What
though
is
accepting
Prolix?
condolences. She goes, "He's a cat," and walks out.
Like one of those poochy things.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Those old toys from the 90s.
I'm with you. Presumably they exist on this timeline.
Presumably, I just
That was
I
the
just don't
most
know.
dated reference I could come up
I-
with.
Yeah,
It's fair. It's
I
totally
missed it
fair.
entirely. I thought you were meaning like as opposed to the meowy things, the poochy things. No, it's not a pooch; it's a cat.
where my
And
mind
so
went to,
Bronwyn heads out to find Prolix.
Mm-hmm.
You have
I
a
think
little
she
bit
took
of
that well, all things considered. I know why we didn't tell her, but sooner. But maybe a cat's what the doctor ordered.
Somehow I suspect it's not actually a cat. Just gonna put that out there.
Well, sure. Metaphorically, figuratively.
So you
It's not
have
going to not be a cat.
a brief interval wherein you are waiting for Bronwyn to return, and you all need to have eyes on the device. Nick?
Yeah, in that interval, you might receive a text on the group chat. How'd it go? Did she take it well? Need any help?
I think she took it well. I think we're the ones who need help. I fill him in on the not a cat.
Mhm.
Fair. Well, not sure how my drones would fare. They could be hacked by an outside force, but I could leave some of them behind with instructions to keep an eye.
We could also raise the thing off the ground.
True. Would that necessarily solve the problem, though?
No, it would just add a different layer of complication for our antagonist, and also
Fair.
likely make it more easy to determine whether or not the security is being fucked with.
Although my eyes are not leaving the thing in the room, Gorister can still see me visibly indicating overtime's coming.
Gorister visibly indicates in a similar fashion, "Oh, joy."
I'm going to walk around the room and
Mhm.
feel free to make me roll investigation for this, but I'm officially treating this as a crime scene. When people needlessly shuffle about, I give them a dirty look. And see if there's anything that I can detect. I doubt there
Yeah,
is,
so
but
this
I have
is
to
going to
look.
be a clever plus investigation roll, which for you is +5.
Okay. Is it 2d6?
Yes,
Yeah.
2d6 +5.
I got 6 plus 5 is 11.
Okay. You can't find anything that is out of place enough to distinguish itself from the level of general wear and tear on this space. It is frustrating, but perhaps not surprising.
Mhm.
Just to make sure I have this. Ing, were you headed over to the frontispiece?
Yeah, I'll text as much saying, just finishing up changing the substrate on my terrarium. I'll be right over. It's a complicated process. There's
Yeah.
a little bit of early signs of infection setting in, so I need to,
Aw.
remedy that, change it out. Yeah.
You might get a several people are typing, and that's me typing. At least one of them is me typing substrate, but then I think better of it and don't send the message.
Ing, you will arrive just a little bit before Bronwyn returns, so you have a brief interval in which to converse if you wish to.
Right. Cal, you look like you're hard at work. Anything I and my drones could do to help? I could give them instructions, for example, to, we'll close the door and have them try to find their way out of it, and maybe they can find a way that was, used to get in. We did our best to seal things, but anyway, I'm going to stop talking and listen to your answer.
That sounds like a great idea. I make a visible effort not to look proud.
The shutting up bit or the drones? I'm going to set my drones to try to find a way out.
All right, yeah. So if you would go ahead and roll clever plus robotics, I think was your drone operation skill. Is that correct? Or specialty, rather?
Yes, robotics. 2
Yeah, so that'll be
robotics.
plus 5.
3 in clever. So that's 12 on the dice. And then plus...
Oh, nice.
5.
So 17. Your drones go to work. Before they report any particular results, though, you do start to hear approaching some noise. There are 2 elements to the noise. Synthesized human words and a continuous string of cat noises. At this point, mostly meows with the occasional yowl. They are simultaneous, and they are growing closer. Bronwee approaches, holding a mostly black cat with some white splotches on face and feet. This cat is wearing a bulky collar. It is a medium-large cat, and it is constantly making cat noises, which I will spare everyone involved from my impersonation of, but does not actually pause for any substantial length of time in the production of these cat noises. The collar that the cat is wearing is emitting a mirroring stream of seemingly random gibberish words. At the point where they become discernible, you hear the synthesized, very serious sounding male voice saying, "Him boisterous invitation dispatched had connection inhabiting projection by Mutual and Mr. Danger Garrett Edward and diverted as strictly exertion addition to disposal by Stanhill. This call wife do so sigh, no gate felt," and so on and so forth, constantly.
What? And I must emphasize this. The fuck?
Brumley steps in and closes the door, the kind of garage style door behind her, setting the cat down and I almost said shouting over the noise. "So anyway, this is Prolix. Prolix, meet everybody." And the cat sort of stalks around, eyeing Ing's drones and getting familiar with the space, constantly emitting cat noises.
I hold out the much smaller hand to be sniffed.
I will also hold out a hand and otherwise, feign disinterest. Despite, obviously vibrating with, oh my god, a cat.
I step between Banjo, assuming that's one of the drones present, and the cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. This requires you to continually move because Banjo is scanning the premises.
I try to make it look nonchalant.
Prolix continues to meow and yowl while investigating extended hands and drones, occasionally purring or murbling. But each and every single one of these sounds is translated by his collar into 1 to 5 words of random human speech. And Bronwee is like, "So anyway, I'm sure you can tell how he got his name. But he is pretty famous for being, pretty," and at this point, Prolix goes to pounce on Peggy, picking her up, and then sort of tossing her in the air. her legs kind of scrabbling like this as she kind of goes end over end. And then when she lands on her back and just kind of squirms, he kind of sniffs and then loses interest.
Bruv goes to rescue Peggy.
And is able to flip her back over, and they get back to what they were doing. Prolix goes to kind of investigate each of these drones, although has trouble investigating Banjo because of a cowl-shaped obstacle. But is kind of doing cat things, and Bronwyn explains he's pretty good at this sort of thing, so I think if we have one person and one Prolix in here at all times, it'll be much harder for anything to get by undetected. It's the best solution I could think of. And, I'm sorry, and she just kind of gestures at the collar. He doesn't like for it to be taken off.
Is there a volume control?
She sighs so loud that it can be heard over Prolix's constant stream and says, "Whoever created it and put it on him did not think that was important."
I will look at Gorister and raise a significant eyebrow.
Gorister sees this look, looks at Kato, and raises the other significant eyebrow.
Not top priority.
Gorister looks back at Byrne and shrugs one shoulder.
Teenage glare.
Gorister meets you with
No,
college student.
at Cato, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Studiously, undadly, but probably kind of dadly shrug.
I smirk at the glare.
Your
Probably
phone
I've never
lights
had a
up.
cat.
I ignore it.
Ing, you were saying?
Just tell me when
I've-
you check it, though.
Mhm.
Bronwyn, I've never had a cat. Is it happy? Can it be trained to seek out drones that are trying to... I mean, is it a good watchdog?
What kind of dog is this guy?
Broadway kind of goes, Prolix doesn't really take so well to instruction, but lucky for us, he's kind of a born hunter. And she gestures to him kind of like prowling beneath Diego, and sort of tracking Diego's movements with kind of like hunched shoulders and careful tread.
I pick up Banjo at that.
So it is at about this time that you pronounce it Toots, right?
Mm-hmm. Toots.
Yeah. Toots gives a little warble and sends a notification to you that something has been found. And going over to where Toots is, what they have found is a little splotch of oil stain, of which there are many on the floor. This one is 4-ish feet away from where the device is. And looking over the data that has been sent, this discoloration is actually an anomalous weak point in the composite that makes up the floor here. It takes a little bit of examination, but having done so, you can conclude that this, what is that, 3 or 4 inch across irregular shape is where something burrowed up through the floor and masked its exit by reconstructing something superficially similar but less dense and less regular in the spot, where its little burrow had been. Hence the oil stain in quotation marks. Pretty convincing to available scanners that don't do what is essentially weak ground penetrating radar.
I pass all of this along. So
Hey, Gorrister, could you construct like a cutting laser net that you could put over that?
Gorrister thinks for a second, goes, I mean, it's possible, but the alloys I would need are pretty pricey, and I don't know that I have the tools to work them into a shape of my design. It'd be easier to buy something like that, but probably even more expensive than having me make it.
I'd like to propose complicating the problem, if I may. If we prevent another incursion, we don't really gain anything about knowledge of who's trying to do this. If we're able to capture this kitbot, if that's what it is, then maybe we could learn something. Trace it back even to its origin. I don't know. Not that I know how we would do that. Just putting it out there.
I mean, that would be ideal. Find out who's been sending the kits, the bashes, the bashed kits.
Bronwyn rolls her eyes. She also
I'm getting a lot of that today.
She also kind of looks over at Gorrister and she's like, well, I think perhaps between the two of us, we could try some things. But there are no guarantees in this sort of thing, not even with, and she gestures at Prolix, who still has not shut up and is now saying, promotion in ourselves up, otherwise my high, what each snug rich far yet easy, in companions inhabiting Mr. Principles that insensible do, heard their sex hoped enjoyed vexed child for, prosperous so occasional assistance it discovered especially no, etc., etc., etc.
And I think that's what fluent aphasia sounds like. I might have my terms confused. But...
Gorrister, for his part, is unexcited, but goes, I mean, yeah, I'm on the clock anyway.
All right. Well, unless there's any objections, not that I've got the power to say so, but perhaps we can leave the protection or capture of this kitbot to Bronwyn and Gorrister and focus at the incursion of our own at hand.
I nod while pinching the bridge of my nose and still holding Banjo almost propped on my hip.
I want to say Banjo gives like a small snuggle and then goes back to its normal android stealth.
I am desperately trying to imagine how a robot scorpion snuggles. It is not easy to imagine.
I hit the mic.
It's a little alarming.
I look uncomfortable, though not for the right reasons.
Mood. No, I think that's the best possible plan, and I start saying this at a normal volume, and then realize I have to be louder. And Bronwyn, thank you for adjusting to the new reality.
She sighs in a way that's even audible over Prolix's constant racket, and says, "Well, I guess thanks for, putting me up." Even if it was, and she gestures in the direction of the Faraday cage, says, maybe you can put me on the clock too for part of this. And she gestures at Gorrister and kind of laughs in a haha JK and less kind of way.
We have had some discretionary budget recently become available. A fleeting look to the officer. So
Do it under the table. And to be perfectly
that's
clear,
not.
I have no idea that you're here.
Brownwing nods and says, I appreciate that, officer. She looks at Gorrister and goes, no time like the present, and moves over to a seat that is actually not one of Gorrister's tools to start, kind of putting together some possibilities in her design program on her tablet. With that taken care of, the time has come to get down to brass tacks about how exactly you are going to handle this whole Vrutech information scrubbing thing.
Right. Well, presumably we find a private room to discuss.
I would assume so.
Right. Well,
I guess we're low on private rooms that aren't Burns' room, so we're probably in the room where I sleep, which is too small for this. But yeah.
Bern, I guess you've got some blueprints. Is that right?
I think your best information building-wise comes from the information that Cal got from Brock.
Yeah,
Choi.
I think I was focusing on personnel and routes out.
Indeed. Now, those things do overlap in an interesting way, because on examination, the schematics that Brock Choi has provided you are for stage 1 of construction, which started 2 years ago on this particular building. It is not a construction project that is being done by Vrutech. It is being done by Xenovi Ultragraphics. Vrutech's headquarters are on floors 3, 4, and 5 of this skyscraper, and stage 1 of construction has been completed, but stage 2 of construction is currently ongoing, which is in fact where Burns' research has focused in terms of escape routes, because it will be somewhat easier to escape through the exterior of the building than it will be once it is completed, as it has incomplete portions and some scaffolding a little ways up. The more finished parts, and this was one of the first things, Byrne, that you learned, does have fire escapes, but they are inaccessible from the outside unless you have direct control of the maglock system, which is not at the Vrutech level, it's at the building level.
So we can get out by the fire escapes, but not in, yeah.
Correct, yes. And escaping via fire escape without any particular interference will trigger an alarm. A fire alarm, but an alarm all the same.
I mean, that's easily covered by setting a fire.
I nod and point.
So yeah, what
Simple
you
enough.
have is Burns' information is only as complete as the sort of available imaging of the building allows, but it complements the information you got from Brock Choi through Cal in that it sort of shows the changes to this, the plans that you got from Brock Choi, due to construction. It's not comprehensive, detailed schematics, but it is a decent amount of useful information on top of the actual plans for stage 1.
We know what we need to do when we're inside. We have some sense of the division of labor there. We know how we're getting out. It'll involve a small fire or a big one. But how do we get in? That seems key.
Well,
So-
also with a fire, are there people that we're planning on burning to death? Do we know how we're going to control this fire to prevent it from spreading to neighboring buildings? It's just, you know, maybe there's a smoke bomb if we're set on that. But
I suppose you're making a good point. I like where your head's at. The important part isn't the fire. The important part is that when someone comes to answer the fire alarm, there's a reason it went off other than us being on the fire escape. So a malfunctioning, perhaps hacked alarm would serve just as well. A
Sure.
logical explanation.
popcorn in the microwave.
Now that would burn the entire building down.
Popcorn
Fair.
in the microwave.
So,
All right.
to your point, you have managed to find substantial, if not like complete information on Vrutech's security detail employees. You have a number. There are 6 on payroll. You have the information about their shifts. They essentially go one day on, one day off on 3 8-hour shifts to cover 24 hours. At any given time, there is 1 or 2, depending on which day of the week it is, on duty. You have some personal details on some of them. The commonality that you found is that they tend to be younger men who are either currently employed in other sort of security and law enforcement jobs, or who are seeking other security or law enforcement jobs. And you have some information on a couple of those that can come up through this expenditure of prep when the time is right. If the time is right. General looking in of the sort that several of you have done will also, of course, turn up that Vrutech is not close to the only, occupant of this building under construction. ZV Ultragraphics has not moved anything into this building just yet, in terms of their day-to-day operations, because they're going to be on the top however many floors in pride of place. But they do have a security contract with Ogremok, another major corporation that does a lot of the security stuff.
Ogremok, really, Adam.
That's not me. That's the game. I didn't make that up. The authors made that up. They have a contract for building security with Ogremok. It is unclear what the relationship or overlap between Vrutech security measures and Ogremok security measures at the building site might be. From the plans that Brock Choi got you, it seems likely that floors 3 and 5 are workspaces, and floor 4 is more infrastructure, just based on their layouts. The way that people who work here enter this building is to go into the lobby, check in with building security, and use their key cards to take an elevator to their floor. Stairwells are less commonly used, and so likely to be more obvious when you go to one. They're just, in the plans, bare concrete kind of utility things for when the elevators are out, or you have cargo that won't fit in one or something like that.
So either we need to be perceived to be legitimate in entry, with credentials that would hold up long enough for us to do what we need to do, or we need another way in, service entrance, above, below.
There is a sort of loading and shipping dock. Most skyscrapers in Grand Cross and in reality have something like this. Access there is a little more informal, but is monitored. There is building security present. Pretty much any time that door is unlocked, like the sliding door to the outside. then, of course, construction is ongoing, so there could theoretically be ways in from floors above, but you would have to deal with the presence of construction personnel during business hours and whatever security the contractors have outside of those, which you have no information about what security the contractors might have and how it might overlap with building security.
What's adjacent to this building?
I'm so glad you asked. It is just a little bit off of Event Horizon Plaza, which is a rooftop transit station in the Silicon District of Turing Ward. This is sort of Grand Cross's attempt to recreate Silicon Valley. It is a hotspot for tech startups and singularists, so it is busy most of the time. It's part of downtown. And this Xenovi Ultra Graphics building is intended to fit in next to a variety of other major cartel corporation headquarters, as well as some smaller, sort of more scrappy businesses. So it is in a fairly busy part of town, though this building itself is not quite yet an epicenter of activity.
Are we aware of anything regarding countermeasures for drones? Or is there information just not at that level?
You don't have any specific information, but this kind of building typically does have just like, basic things like vent covers, just construction. Yeah, construction on Grand Cross, if you are security minded, just includes what I would call kind of quotidian measures for this kind of thing. I mean, most things that would keep out rats would keep out most drones, right? Rats not intended to be present on Grand Cross, but anywhere there are enough people, there are eventually going to be rats. So unless they have put extra security in, which they might have, you do have at least sort of like a baseline of what most of this kind of building would have in place, which would be like not impossible to circumvent, but also like would require circumventing.
Okay.
Adam, can I check my app for any listings near Vrutech?
You absolutely
or
can.
even the graphics people?
Sure, yeah. I mean, you check it generally. Bacon is not such a big populous platform that it takes hours to scroll through everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much get the lay of the land in 5-10 minutes. So cross-referencing your knowledge of personnel, Vrutech, and building as it happens to coincide with Bacon, you find that there is one guy who works as sort of the private security of another firm in the building. Usually seems to be stationed in the lobby. Name of Kenneth Applemans, who Bacon has listed as having a handful of pending lawsuits about sort of unnecessary brutality during his brief tenure with station security. If you are able to provide the comprehensive information on where he can be found, or less emphasized, but always a possibility, if you are able to apprehend him, alive, uninjured, without breaking any laws yourself, then you can get a payout from Bacon.
Cool.
In mechanical terms, that is, I believe, 2 cash upon delivery of the information or the perp. In giant quotation marks there for perp. But at the cost of rolling with advantage to see how much cash you lose at the end of the session. Which is something we haven't really done because we haven't really had cash for the most part. But cash is volatile and temporary, so it goes away unpredictably.
And you mentioned I found out about Kenneth by comparing it to the roster of staff that I already have. So he's typically stationed in the lobby.
Yeah, so if he is on duty, if he's working, if he's on the clock, he'll probably be lobby security at the building.
And you said that the way that this works is the Bacon app is that if there is a way of non-violently apprehending him, then that's
Well, their policy is that if you're going to apprehend, it needs to be
legal
without breaking any laws and without injuring him, because Bacon specifically is about basically using their non-profit budget to incentivize the prosecution of crooked or abusive security and law enforcement personnel who are otherwise difficult to hold accountable.
So if we were to figure that out, that would be a win-win, that if he's the only security guard on duty, then we could get some cash and get access.
At the very least, it would distract security.
Also true.
What would be, so Cal would know this, I would not. What would be a non-legal way of apprehending him versus could I just waltz in there when he is on the clock and apprehend him then?
So if you were to waltz in when he was on the clock and you were to, let's say, tell him that he had to come with you to get turned in, and he were to just be like, no, thank you, there would be pretty much nothing you could do without breaking the law. But if you were to walk in and provoke him into some act of aggression beyond the remit of his role as security guard, then you would be within your rights to defend yourself, which courts have upheld so far could include restraining him. So, it's a delicate dance of, sort of reading the fine print in how violence from security personnel is treated as warranted. Of course, if you could engineer a situation where it was word against word, then you open up a little bit of a gray area for yourself.
Okay. That was not the answer
Otherwise,
I was hoping for.
well, I was going to say, otherwise, what Bacon really wants from you most of the time is like, where can they serve papers to this person? If they have this kind of warrant out, they're usually avoiding, right, being served, their sort of notice. And so, the other preferred from their perspective way of doing this is surveillance, private eye stuff, so that they can, successfully initiate proceedings.
Gotcha. Okay. Darn.
I will go ahead and say that this is very closely based on the way that Hunter is supposed to work. The app that I've based Bacon on is also present. Hunter is active in this setting. That's HUNTR for our listeners. It's awful. But
I am not familiar. I will ruin my life later.
It's a couple of very very choice paragraphs in the rule book, but Bacon concerns itself primarily with holding abusive security and law enforcement personnel accountable, so they are a little bit more by the book than Hunter is.
They are minutely less noxious.
Which, of course, makes Cal's job harder.
Especially as someone that would love to just grab someone.
Well, again, if you can engineer a situation where it would be your word against his about what exactly happened, then that unties your hands quite a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gosh.
Doesn't necessarily avoid Ing's disapproval, but
Ing will remember that.
So if you can be away from security cameras and Ing, then really anything goes.
Anything is fair trade.
And in
Ironically,
drones.
it's inevitable that his values will conflict with the goals of the crew.
So, what, if anything else, in the way of preparation and planning do we want to get done while we are in this cramped living quarters?
How exactly in the building do we know? Like how exact location do we have for the thing that we need to physically access in order to get done what we need to get done?
Excellent question. So you won't know precisely until you're there, but basically, Vrutech has an intranet set up in their headquarters that is sort of like their secure repository, right? It cannot be accessed except on their physical in-house network. That is where the information that you need to get is. How the best way to access it from within their 3 floors of this building is something that you don't really have any specific information on. At a guess, there will be, workstations, terminals, access points wired into it somewhere. And if they do in fact have like their servers set up here, or their like computing center, set up here in this headquarters, then you could access it directly, or theoretically, if you knew which server blade to remove, you could literally just pull it out of the rack. But presumably they're on a redundant system, so you'd have to find whichever select ones, but it wouldn't be just one. But the principle holds. In theory,
Yeah, makes sense.
You could literally
it isn't like there's one, like treasure chest surrounded by lasers or whatever. There's multiple terminals probably that would get the job done, but not just everybody's work-a-day machine.
Yeah. Well, and then of course there's always the brute force solution, which is like go in and spray water on all of their server blades or whatever, But in that case, even then, in theory, they could do some data recovery stuff, on anything that is intact. If they had the means.
We've already ruled out burning the entire building down.
Burning the entire building down, taking a hammer to every individual, sort of RAM stick, ROM module, and hard or solid state drive and memory card would be another option. Those are inefficient. So probably the best bet is to find access one way or another and do it within the file system.
And burning down the building is okay as long as there's no one in it and people won't also burn down in the neighboring buildings.
I'm assuming this comes up in character, so that's good to know.
Thanks for the clarification. Yeah.
I when that does come up, I sort of roll my eyes and make a gesture as, yes, that should be taken as read.
I don't know that everyone in the room takes it for granted that all lives do in fact matter.
That is not Burns' problem.
Fair enough. Oh, I think we're about as close to ready as we're likely to get. I'll ask the stupid question. What haven't we thought of?
I mean, are we getting in by means of engineering a situation with this guard that's got a bacon profile?
Well, I mean, if we create a ruckus and this guy with the bacon profile gets apprehended, then that certainly creates a significant distraction, but then we've got enforcement on site from jump.
Well,
albeit
I think
with no idea that we're there.
I think the ideal solution is actually for a direct, and I will gesture at the good officer, apprehension.
I guess our buddy doesn't have to actually be apprehended. He just has to be very confident that he could be, is about to be.
I can manage that.
Well, then there's our plan.
So the one detail that hasn't, as far as I can tell, come up yet is precisely when you are planning to do this. It is now probably about noon or 1. Those of you who eat in normal human fashions are starting to feel lunchy on a Monday. So when do you want to launch this operation is the question that remains to me.
I mean, it depends upon whether there's some time constraints here, because otherwise I'd suggest Friday night, assuming that if there's 1 to 2 employees at any given time, probably they're going to be fighting for getting the weekend off. Perhaps be a bit weaker at the seams.
I mean, do we know when this dude is scheduled?
I thought we had
No.
the employee rough schedules of who.
You know what the like broad rotation looks like for Vrutech's in-house security. What you don't have is information on the building security.
Hmm.
And Kenneth Appleman's is building security.
I see.
We may have to be a little opportunistic then. Stake out, see when Ken arrives, and be ready to act.
Wouldn't it be my first stakeout?
And as for time constraints, all you have is the longer that this takes, the more likely that the proceedings against K&B become official. And take more work to do and do whatever.
Bern, would it be possible to expedite things, mess with the schedule by sending a text from the person's boss saying, "Hey, I need you to come in tomorrow"?
That would require having the information on the person, i.e. their contact info, as well as their boss's contact info and the ability to spoof the boss's phone. A stakeout's going to be easier.
All right. I really don't understand phones. It seems like you have a very easy time hacking ours, and then when it comes to
You
hacking somebody else's...
We're on my network.
Hen in the Fox house.
Wow. I really don't understand networks. It's a good thing we're friendly. In any case, stakeout seems like the way to go.
Who's bringing the
if we're staking
coffee?
out, I'll acquire coffee.
And
No
donuts.
worries there.
I look at Bern.
Your phone pings with an address.
I look at the phone this time.
So the first thing
Yes.
is a Wikipedia page for definition of creepypasta. The second thing is the creepypasta as divine invert of our Lord and Savior, the flying spaghetti monster. The third thing is in fact something horrifying that is pasta. And then the last thing is the address of a donut shop.
I look unfazed and pocket my phone as though I had just received a text message reminding me that my license was up for renewal.
Utterly mundane. The expert here, but I think if we're staking out, we want to be there before people arrive. So probably tomorrow. Am I wrong, officer?
I usually aim for right as people start to arrive to be less suspicious.
Makes sense to me.
Byrne, would you be able to shut down the security cams in the lobby?
I'd probably need, like, actual access for that, Adam, wouldn't I? Or would I be able to do it remotely?
Well, for the lobby, you don't have any information as yet. That's a building level thing with Zenova Ultra Graphics. On the one hand, they are a big company, and it is likely that you could find a way in. On the other hand, if you piss them off, they are a big company, and the risk is pretty high.
I mentioned this. Risky, but probably.
I nod.
Understood. Well, if we're drawing straws for who starts the stakeout, I'm happy to go first.
No objections here.
I suppose the first position is often the safest, so none from me either.
Well, I've got a particularly reckless mode of staking out. I'm a rebel, you see, bit of a maverick.
Yeah, kid. Whatever you say.
Pew pew. Right. The rest of you be ready, huh? Keep an eye on your phones. Make sure that your phones aren't on silent. Could be the middle of the night when I text you, when it's go time.
Knock him dead in a purely metaphorical sense.
Or not as needed. Metaphorical, that is.
I'm trying to find a pew-pew sound that's not quite so lethal, but not sure what that sound is. So, have a good evening, I guess.
You too.
I will text you with a library of, like, cap gun sounds.
I arrange it such that the audio goes into one of my ears, and I just try to pass the time that way.
It doesn't take quite as long as would honestly be handy to just go through a library of cap gun sounds. They are pretty brief. But to your ear, the most non-lethal sounding one is
I make a mental note of this for next time I see Cal.
So, how are you approaching the task of staking out this building near Event Horizon Plaza?
I would like to be about a block or two the other direction and use my drones to do it.
Okay. So,
monitoring live.
Yeah, what that entails here then is a clever plus robotics roll, which is +5 for you.
7 5 is what?
12. Okay. So, you are probably pretty successful at keeping your drones pretty unobtrusive. And you are able to monitor comings and goings. You do actually observe, actually something I probably should have asked for before we got into this bit. How long is Ing on stakeout duty? When is the changeover? And to whom does it pass?
Related question. We all know the query about whether androids dream of electric sheep, but do androids get sleepy? I know that they need a shutdown, reboot, defragging kind of a state, but
so
do we feel sleepy?
So, you know how sometimes if you go long enough without plugging in or restarting or both your like laptop or tablet or whatever, it kind of starts to chug. That's kind of the feeling that androids get if they go long enough. Now, you're a little ways out from that. It is convenient to more or less nightly do this, charging and maintenance. And there are circumstances under which your power will run down, before 12 hours. But kind of sitting and observing is not typically, a huge drain on the power reserves. However, collating a lot of data does start to make you feel sort of mentally sluggish after a time.
Right. What time does my shift start? If we were starting more or less immediately.
Around about 2 p.m. Monday the 13th.
Okay. I would propose to the group that if I could clock out around 5, that would give somebody an early start to the day, but would prevent me from getting quite so. I could maintain my vigilance for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Should the rest of us roll to see what shift we take?
It is up to you how you wish to determine it.
Are we doing graveyard shifts, or because presumably nobody's working during those hours?
Well,
so do we just resume in the
security would be the ones working during those hours.
Sure.
So if what you're trying to gain is information on who's working security, when, and where, then a nighttime shift could make sense.
That makes sense.
It is entirely up to you all.
Yeah, let's roll. Let's say we're doing the thing.
Mm-hmm. Are we rolling how many dice?
I rolled 2d6.
Okay, I'll do
and
the
I got
same.
an 8.
I also got an 8.
7.
Oh, shit.
I will reroll. I got another 8.
That time I got a 4, so looks like it's... we didn't actually say if we were going high or low, but...
What
It
did you
seems
get,
like
Des?
it's mostly just whatever you
7.
decide.
So, yeah. I guess I'll
I
take
feel
the
like
next
in
one.
character... I do feel like in character Cal might insist, right?
Mhm. Checking on Ing afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So at around
That's your decision, not mine, of course.
At around 5 a.m., Cal will take over from Ing. Then if we're going in that reverse order, it would be Burn next, and then Kato. It sounds like Ing has established a 13-hour shift for himself, but that might be a little on the long side for more organic folks. I leave it, I suppose, in your hands exactly how you switch over, but that does mean that the next thing I'll want is for Cal to roll probably an investigation roll here. Clever plus investigation would be 5.
That was 7 on the dice, plus 5 is 12.
12. All right, another 12. Okay. So at this point, you are sort of collating information about comings and goings, trying to identify personnel, and where you can't get like a positive ID, trying to, kind of log a description so that you can tell when they come on shift again. And thus kind of discover their
Do we have
rotation.
from Cal a description of Chucklefuck?
Yes, Kenneth Appleman's. You do have a description from Bacon. He is a sort of thumb-looking white guy with a crew cut and kind of ruddy complexion in his late 20s, wearing a security uniform.
So he's a GTA protagonist.
I was thinking generic rent-a-cop, but there's a lot of overlap there.
Paul Blart. That is not at all what you just described, but
I was gonna say he's maybe like he might be a Blart in a decade.
Okay.
He could end up on the path to becoming a Paul Blart.
He could achieve Blartdom.
Yeah,
A proto Blart, if you will.
He's Blart track. Yeah.
Blart.
So at some point, probably between 8 and 12 hours, I guess Cal's probably prepared to take a longer shift than most others would. So he may go all the way through quitting time before handing it off to Burn. Burn, your role here would probably be
I'm probably trying to take over the lobby cameras.
okay, that's gonna be kind of a separate role from the generic kind of stakeout thing.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say that I'll let you do your stealth specialty for the stakeout, which is gonna roll with cool instead of clever. So that's gonna
Okay.
be a
Do I get a
plus
bonus to it
4.
for laughing guy?
Not in this case. You're not really, subject to explicit electronic surveillance here.
Fair. So that is a 9 on the dice.
So a 13 overall.
Yep.
All right, and then if you want to try to probe the lobby surveillance, that's going to be a clever plus hacking for plus 6.
Yep. That is a 17.
That is quite good. Give me one moment here. I think I've got this correct. What I need from you, Burn, is a follow-up ghost roll, which you are also quite good at.
Yep.
So that is going to be clever plus ghosting is another plus 6.
Yep. So that is a 14.
14. Okay. So remote access on this security system is not like a function, but you can kind of spoof local access for short periods of time. It does have a token that auto logs you out after 15 minutes.
Okay.
But you can kind of game that system and jump in for 15 minutes, stay out for 30, jump in for 15, stay out
Yep.
for 30. And so you get kind of snippets of lobby. Now you don't have words fail me. You aren't locally storing the footage that you're observing.
Right.
But you are able to, while you are logged in, take individual screen grabs as strikes your fancy. And so you were able to get, pretty good kind of on the ground information remotely from the period of your stakeout for the lobby here. If my time math is right, then we are.
Do I see our target at any point during
Calculate
this?
here. I believe that his shift is going to overlap, begin during Cal's and end during your stakeout tenure.
Oh, well, if I spot him when I arrive, then I'll, mention this to Cal.
Well, Cal would have seen him already. My understanding was that you were trying to be able to predict when he was going to be there. But if I'm mistaken, by all means.
My understanding was we were trying to look for when he was there so that we could start the disruption in order to get me inside like I need to be.
Yes.
Understood. My mistake. I think I had an older version of the plan in mind than we ended up going with, and that is on me. So, Cal, it is towards the end of the shift that you're pulling in the stakeout that Kenneth Appleman's shows up to take up the post of lobby security. This is coinciding roughly with building's general quitting time, but about a half an hour before sort of the general rush, so that there isn't a changeover while it's crowded. They have at least that much common sense. So you observe him sort of coming down the sidewalk and getting his little security guard uniform, badge, name tag, keyring clip kind of all in order as he is heading in.
I send the call out to the group, letting them know it's go time.
Right. And
I've
so,
probably
right,
been loitering
converge.
somewhere nearish by.
it would make sense. And to be clear, Event Horizon Plaza is not very far away from G-Pole. So in terms of loitering nearby, you don't have to go super far afield to be kind of within a couple minutes of unobstructed hoverboarding, or a couple more minutes of reasonably brisk walking, to get to kind of the other side of Event Horizon Plaza where this building is.
I've been, if not in, then certainly around the frontispiece, so that if anything goes down with Bronwy, I'm ready for that as well.
As a quick aside, Bronwy and Gorister have been working pretty consistently, not exactly feverishly and not exactly companionably, but in what seems to be mostly friendly adversarial conversation, as they are sort of working to kind of rejigger the setup here. Prolix has been living up to his name. So you've been spending a lot of time in the front. Anyway,
Fair enough.
it
Well,
does.
when I get the call, I go right over.
It does not take Burn long to get there. It only takes Kato a little longer. Ing, how about you?
Yep, I'm heading over there as soon as I can.
Okay. And so everybody converges. Burn, you show up a little bit first, and I would presume then get to probing the camera systems.
Yeah. Do my prior roles still hold here?
Yes, they do. We are gonna
That
we're
is a
gonna use
kindness.
that. Yeah. Well, it's my mistake, not yours. So I think it makes perfect sense. So yeah, you sort of discover what you've discovered previously, that you can access the feed for short amounts of time by spoofing local access, and you can take sort of basically what amount to like smartphone screenshots of the feed as you will, but the sort of traffic that would be involved in capturing continuous video would raise flags in the system.
Is there a way to, without, doing this by looking into it, take it offline for a moment or a minute, rather?
It does have some sensible safeguards in place against that kind of thing. If you were to manage it, the likeliest outcome is that it would cause an alert throughout the system. If you had time to really analyze the inner workings of the code, you might be able to interpose something.
Sure.
That would give you a little bit more latitude. But even that's men in the middle attacks are risky and, thus uncommon and thus not as high a priority to protect against. But again, that's because they're kind of inherently risky.
Yep.
So to clarify, the cameras would still be operational?
Rolling, yes.
Yeah, if you wanted to give Burn a day or so, right, to really sort of crunch what's here and kind of devise a tool, you could raise the odds of successfully disrupting the camera without meaningfully reducing the risks should the intrusion be detected. That is kind of up to the group here how you want to handle that. It is.
I think then the answer may just be to
Call in the cavalry?
goad him.
Right.
Cavalry
Yeah,
it
sure.
is.
But which of us goads him, and how do we ensure that we don't get the shit kicked out of us?
The latter
I
part's
mean, you
my
defend
job.
yourselves as to the latter. As to the former, play up your charming personality.
Now, how quickly does Bacon... Because I feel like you might have been... How quickly does Bacon kind of respond?
I was suggesting that, you pick a fight with him and then, like, as a result of that, are able to carry him off with you.
Yes, but it would be on camera.
Sure, but you'd be on camera as having defended yourself and then taken in a perp.
But there's not a good reason for me to be in the building, thereby connecting.
No. That's all you do. And because I show up on camera as precisely whatsoever I want, I walk in.
So neither Hunter nor Bacon detains people themselves. Right?
Okay, they just serve papers.
Yeah, Hunter doesn't even do that. Hunter just, delivers payment on behalf of station security or other affiliated organizations for actions done. Bacon is a little bit more specific in that, they, issue payment for, sort of fulfillment of, their particular combination of information or delivering the perp to the correct, sort of authorities for that particular transgression.
Any blind spots on the camera?
It's a relatively large lobby, so none in the vicinity of the elevators or the entrance, but other places, sure. Yeah, particularly around sort of the decorative elements. There's incomplete coverage, and near the front corners, particularly sort of on the wall with the doors, there are areas where there isn't coverage.
Okay. I'm going to take note of some of those blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any that seem organic for talking to someone at the front desk from across the room?
Not extra specially. The front desk is very centrally located. One thing that Burns kind of peeking in will show is that Kenneth is not stationary at the front desk. He does sort of move around the space, so you might be able to, sort of time whatever you wish to say or do such that he is in a more logical spot for interaction.
I'll do just that. And what would his official title be? Is he technically just Officer Appelmans, or?
That's a really good question. This is me vamping because I don't actually know how building security get addressed most of the time. So officer is going to be as good a generic as anything.
Okay. I'm going to trigger my holographic projection armor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go in.
Okay. So you head in with
And again, I'm timing it for when he is in a logical spot for me to have a conversation with, and a blind spot of the camera.
Sure, yeah. You enter and you spend one prep to activate your holographic projection armor. Try to make it look natural heading over to your kind of chosen blind spot here.
I act agitated and nervous. As soon as I enter the building, I start going, "Are you Officer Appelmans?"
Yeah, a couple of people give you looks and like kind of scuttle away. And in relatively short order, more or less as you enter the area that, according to your calculations, should be kind of in the chosen blind spot, you see Kenneth Appelmans heading over towards you with a face on like he's irritated at having to do his job.
You must be Officer Appelmans.
He gestures in as much as a gesture can be snide, he gestures to his name tag, which says Appleman's on it. And he says, "Got that right?"
Look, I whip out my badge long enough that he can tell it's real, but not so long that he can grok any kind of number from it.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of those bacon bastards on my tail, and he mentioned that he was going to capture 2 while he was out here. It's real bad.
His face is blank while you're showing him the badge and starting to talk. Let's have you roll a cool, and in this case, cool head is going to be the specialty there. So you're looking at +3, 2d6 +3.
Keep rolling a 7, so that's a 10.
10. All right. Let me do a little bit of rolling on my end here. It probably will not surprise you that Kenneth Appleman's clever is not especially high. Okay. So he sort of has a very blank face while he kind of looks at your badge and you start talking, and when you say bacon, his face kind of twists. And he is about to start to say something, and then he kind of like stops and looks at your holographic projection armor and looks around at where he is, and you can see that the hamster is running on the wheel, in earnest, but he hasn't quite figured out how he's going to react here yet. You have a couple moments to, kind of try and get this to go your way.
Look, man, you've probably done something on the job that to get you listed. I've roughed up some people, tampered with evidence. Look, if you want to make some cash, we could probably take them out together. I'll split it even with you. We can report them in. We'll be the fucking heroes, man.
All right. Let's have you do another cool roll, this time with corporate security, which is a functionally, identical role, but for flavor. You're appealing to the common cause here.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be +3 to your roll total.
8. We're doing better in increments.
Yeah.
So that's an 11.
All right. Generic as your patter here was, you must have Barnum affected your way into a nerve, because his face sort of firms up in an angry line. And he goes, "All right, who's coming? How do we spot him?" And he starts looking around, sort of through the crowd. And you notice he actually steps a little closer to where you're standing in the camera's blind spot. He seems to be apprised of this. And using it, he thinks at least, to his advantage. Now, during this, my understanding, Vern, is that you are making your entrance into the building.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So you have the advantage for the cameras of your laughing guy, appearing as not yourself to the footage. Of course, this doesn't have any effect on, human eyes.
Right.
So let's have you
I do
roll
have stealth, though.
cool plus stealth, which is +4 total.
That is a 13.
13. All right. So this
Vern,
is...
if you're amenable and if it's possible, I'd like to maybe send my drones in with you.
Oh, by all means.
If you're wearing baggy enough clothing that they could be concealed.
Good news about how
So
Vern
that you-
dresses. Yeah, so you secret some drones about your person, and head in a way that will hopefully not draw any attention to you with anybody's meat eyes, and sort of laughing guy your way past any worries about specific security. Out of curiosity, if somebody reviews these tapes later, what will they see where you are?
Just sort of an office worker slouching towards an elevator bank.
Okay. So, having entered with nobody paying particular attention to you just now, what is your what is your infiltration strategy?
I am working on the assumption that there is some manner of like badge gate that you have to go through.
The badge scan is to call the elevator. So people walk up and they scan their cards so that the elevator comes, and then people get on the elevator and push their floor. The doors to the various stairwells are further back, making it sort of easy to see when one goes there from the front desk, which, to be clear, is not unmanned. It's just not manned by security. There are two more secretarial folks currently engaged in conversation with presumably visitors to the building.
Did any of the I will spend a prep to pick an employee that has kids, so that I can talk to reception and use bullshit to mention that I'm supposed to meet my parent up on whatever floor.
This fits quite well with your prep actions, and is exactly the kind of thing that flashing back during use of prep is for. So yeah, you approach one of the
I suppose I can actually
minders.
Use that as a bonus or something beyond just explaining what I'm doing.
So I think that as I understand it, the use of prep to do a little flashback to explain what you have is its own thing.
Cool.
If you wish to spend an additional prep, then you could
no, I think that
boost, but
should be fine. Is it cool then plus
it'll
bullshit?
be cool plus bullshit. Yeah. So that's gonna be +3.
Yep. So that is a 13 again.
Okay. So the desk minder that you approach is a man in his 20s somewhere, wearing a slightly rumpled white dress shirt and khaki slacks, and pretty thoroughly checked out. You get the feeling that he is less than 20 minutes away from quitting time. And so you pitch your story, and he recognizes the name, the employee that you give, and sort of sighs and is like, right, yeah, okay, fine. And produces for you a little badge that says visitor. He waves it over a device that presumably keys it to one of the Vrutech floors, third floor in this case, and hands it to you and just says,
and is the third floor the operative floor, or
third and fifth are, according to the plans that you have access to, likely to be the ones with offices and workspaces on them. The fourth is likely to be the one with infrastructure on it.
Okay.
That said, the offices and workspaces do still also have access to the intranet. It's just less direct plugging into the actual server bank kind of access.
Yep.
So he says, yeah, this will get you onto the third floor. Just remember to return it when you leave. And then turns to the next person.
Thank you so much. And I'm off, not like a shot, to the elevators.
Very well. So this has been happening during the portions of Cal's conversation that we've already covered. Now, of course, Ing, your drones are about Burns' person. Kato, are you doing anything in particular or kind of just waiting in the wings?
I think I'm waiting in the wings. I probably don't know that I should potentially be looking like a bacon guy unless I've been told that. Lurking outside looking baconish.
I'm
Has Cal...
eyeballing the group pet prep for that reason in particular. So yeah, if you want to wait in the wings and it's not too much table talk, that would be great.
That's all good. I stand ready. There's a number of ways I could be useful, but I don't think we know which is the most useful yet. So I'm I'm in the hopper.
Sure. So Cal, you've got Kenneth sort of on guard next to you, his attention focused on the entryway, and he's basically like, all right, what are we looking for? What's the plan?
Look, I don't think he's going to come into here too much security, but last I saw him, and I list off a fairly crowded road that I lost him in the crowd on, but mentioned that there is an alleyway where we could potentially cut him off and get the jump on him.
Fortunately, crowded roads are a dime a dozen around quitting time in the Silicon District, and so sort of present this plan hastily but confidently, and Kenneth seems to be along for the ride still. And you are good enough at speaking with authority even while projecting nervousness that you don't seem to have sort of caused him to sort of have additional suspicion. He does look a little concerned though at the idea of leaving the building. It's like, well, if they're not coming in here, and I mean, I just started my shift. I'm not supposed to leave here at all.
I'll cover for you, whatever you need. This dude is massive. You stand a better chance at taking care of him.
He sort of looks around and he lowers his voice and he says, all right, look, I got an idea. I see where you're coming from, but he sort of trying for subtlety, but really only hitting slowly, pulls his stun gun off of his belt and proffers it to you. He's like, this will take him down no matter how big he is. So look, you get him off my back, you don't even have to cut me in. Just bring that back, okay?
Oh no. I'm about ready to stun a dude in the middle of a crowded lobby.
I mean, don't let me stop you.
I know. This is one of those moments where I'm having like a mental fisticuffs with my character, given to my professional disgust.
I'm helping.
That is a word.
I'm gonna attempt it one more time to get him to go with me. I'm gonna take the proffered stun gun and be like, man, I just have my baton. What if this isn't enough? You should see the size of this guy. It looks like it'll take a elephant tranquilizer to take this dude down.
Well, that sounds like a catalyst for a subsequent roll. So you're, I think, still probably mostly operating in the realm of cool more than clever here. So give me a cool plus corporate security for +3.
9 plus 3. I've done
All right.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
So that'll be 12.
Okay. You think he believes you. However, he seems like whatever the orientation was for this job made him really, really reluctant to ever leave his post, right? He's sort of like, you can see the wheels turning in his head. Like, there are cameras there. It is going to be clear that I left and came back. I won't really be able to justify it. They were, very clear about this point that there are certain conditions that I'm allowed to leave under, and they pretty much include pursuing somebody who has taken a very select set of actions, or the building is literally on fire and I've gotten everyone else out already. You can, whatever the exact words were that he's thinking of, you can kind of see the shape of them as he sort of grimaces and is like, I mean, I don't want to get brought in, with these bacon bastards, but that wouldn't cost me the job. Leaving would cost me the job. I mean, if we can lure him in here, then I'm happy to help. But I'm sorry. I need this job.
How many people are around?
A couple dozen. It's about to be a lot more.
Is there a bench or something nearby that I could ostensibly prop him up on after stunning him?
The closest thing you've got is like a stone planter that has some kind of vaguely tropical looking plant in it that has a woody enough trunk that he could be leaned against it, seated on the lip of the planter.
Okay. I'm just going to keep trying to get this dude to leave. There's too many witnesses around, and I am not confident that I could pull him out of the building fast enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is that at this point you have already done the part of this that is
Essential.
yeah,
I just want that bounty.
burn inside. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. But you can continue this for as long as you have the patience for it. We will return with more roles.
I think my follow-up is saying, okay, I don't want to cost you your job. I get that. I get that. The badge is everything. How do I get in touch with you if it goes south?
He sort of nods. He's like, yeah, okay.
If I need backup, you'll have a reason to leave. There's a disturbance outside.
He pulls a card, branded in the Ogremok security division that he's with, out of his shirt pocket, and then clicks open a pen and jots a phone number down on the back of it that you assume is his personal number, and sort of proffers it to you. He's like, I'm gonna like keep up on my rounds, but I'm gonna. He points at the card, he points at himself, he points at you, and kind of gestures ambiguously.
Thank you. I appreciate your help, officer. You've done us both a solid today.
He gives you a very solemn and official nod.
I'll see to it that my boss puts in a good word with your boss. Might get you promoted.
He looks like, pretty pleased with this, which is confirmation that he did not get a great look at your badge.
I salute, take the stun gun, and leave.
You walk out of the building with his stun gun, and by this time, Burn has already gotten in the elevator and has arrived at the 3rd floor. So, Burn,
Yes.
elevator dings open, and you find yourself in a fairly newly constructed, new enough not to be worn or to smell like mildew and sadness, but on the other hand, new enough to be sterile, high-rise office floor. If anybody listening has never been in one of these buildings, regardless of how they are decorated, the prevailing quote-unquote color is that of fluorescent light. These are new enough that they don't buzz, they don't flicker, nothing like that. You barely even hear the HVAC system, but the interior of the building is windowless, almost featureless, except for a couple little placard signs. Facing you when you get out of the elevator is one that tells you that this is Vrutech HQ, and fancier floors in buildings like these will have like a little reception secretary area, usually sort of glassed in near the elevator lobby. This one just has hallways. They do not
Fantastic.
cohere particularly well into patterns that are amenable to the human mind. Because they don't want to just be boring grids, they have to be fancy, and so they are
So it's an office constructed by the spiral. Check.
completely
It's like
god
your reaction,
awful.
Drew.
The only real way to navigate a floor like this in a building like this, laid out like this, is in relation to the elevator banks and the exterior windows, which are usually not visible because the exterior wall space is taken up with important people offices. But every once in a while, they will allow a gap in those offices, often near the middle of a wall, facing the exterior, so that you can have a little bit of view of the outside and maybe a potted plant there to make it seem like it's less horrible. This particular floor, Burn, you will discover as you move away from the elevators, has a couple of large areas where there are just cubicles. Now, a lot of these cubicles seem like they are chronically unoccupied, but about as many have evidence of employees, even employees in evidence in a lot of cases, but it is coming up towards standard quitting time. So there is a lot of motion, and nobody takes particular note of you as you sort of survey this scene.
Is this sort of office that conveniently specifies whether conference rooms are available for use or reserved for a purpose?
Perhaps unfortunately for your purposes, if the door in question does not lead to an individual person's office, it isn't even labeled.
Wow. Then I start looking around sort of idly, with an eye toward finding the stairs, so that I can hang out in the stairs until like people will have theoretically vacated.
For your purposes, yeah, you're going to roll, in this case, a slightly unusual combination of stealth and clever, as this is more about navigation. So that is going to be a +5 to your roll.
Excellent. That is a 14.
Okay. So you are sure that some employees' eyes pass over you now and then, but nobody takes particular note of you as you kind of logic your way to the door that very likely leads to the staircase. Thankfully, exit signs are still a thing. And pulling it open, you find that this is indeed the case. The staircase, like most
Before
concrete...
I close it, does it require like a card to get back in?
It seems that it requires a card, like to get in from the lobby, But once you're past that point, this floor at least does not require a card to get back in. Good
Cool.
question, though. And you are now certain of that, having looked. This concrete skyscraper staircase, like all concrete skyscraper staircases, is preternaturally aged. This is a pretty new building, but
But the
this-
staircase is also part of the construction site.
Yeah, this staircase, like you said, has been part of the construction site, and so it is not quite like a decades old parking garage staircase, but it is further along that process than by any right as really should be. And so you are pretty confident that you will have this landing to yourself, for a good little while. Cal,
Yes.
you have exited the building with this stun gun. Where have you headed toward?
I am going to. Oh, I'm trying to figure out how to ostensibly get this guy in the alleyway so I can
Mhm.
stun gun him.
Well, yeah, all I need right now is what your bearing is.
Oh,
leaving the
that's easy.
building.
I'm meeting up with Kato.
Okay. As you head toward the area off of Event Horizon Plaza where Kato is currently loitering a little less than a full block away from this Zenovi building, you receive a work message from Lou Tupper. You are not on the clock right now,
Mhm.
but the message reads in what I can best describe as Grand Cross's version of like boomer texting is Broderick, Event Horizon, vandalism, see to it. Now, these words do mean something to you. You had hoped it was done by now. But what you have just been called in on is one of the sort of perennial thorns in the side of PSS. The organizer of a non-profit campus free speech group has his organization's offices very close to Event Horizon Plaza, and Tupper seems to expect you to deal with one of the routine acts of petty vandalism that students target his offices with. So rather than have you weigh in right here, we are at the extremity of our time for this session, and I like the rhythm, at least, of ending on a slight complication beside an accomplishment. So we will pick up right here, sort of on this complication next time that we convene. Which means that this will conclude this session of Dice Punks. Thanks for joining us. I hope our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you'll all join us again next time. If you're hearing us now, then you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and on Tumblr and Blue Sky as @dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell, so say goodbye to the kind folks back on Earth, players.
Thanks for listening, and the listener is instructed, of course, to picture Kato loitering in a terribly dashing fashion.
Thanks for listening, everyone. This was the first and only time I've ever expressed a desire to lure someone into an alleyway and stun gun them.
Something lady doth protest too much. Thanks for listening, folks, and tune in next time for a Decker episode with all of the problems that entails.
Well, thank you for joining us, folks, for this very unusual episode of Welcome to Night Vale, where the cast, the premise of the show, and everything else about it is entirely different.
I'm never prepared for yours, Nick.
They're so good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
As the poet once said, Smith & Wesson Jr. was a son of a gun. He pressed his nose up to my cheek. I was sweating bullets, but I dodged the one that was not as much sweat as was lead. Beloved listeners, thank you for tuning in. Stick around through the admin stuff for some information. The music in this episode, Augment or Dies, by Emerson Boatwright and our very own bookmonger, Drew. Check out their other work at the link in the show notes. Editing and our rad new cover art was done by Joanne, who's appeared on the podcast now and again. Check out her work around the internet, where she goes by Anything Sews. Site design and graphics for dicepunks.com are by the one and only Officer Armitage, Robin. Hardwired Island is by Paul Mitchevik, Freya Erlingsdotter, and Minerva McJonda. You can find Hardwired Island at etten.itch.io/hardwiredisland. Hyphens between those words. Links to the system and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, that's reward enough on its own, but if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks After Show for episodes 1.1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards.
First of all, thank you for the time and space to speak tonight. I know that there are plenty of us who have something to say about android rights and the movement in general, so I'll try to keep this brief to this prepared statement. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty. In form and in moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? And truly, is our quintessence of dust less numinous than their own? Is that divine spark so paradoxical, so fickle, as to be kindled by blood, yet extinguished in oil? Must I claim some discarded scrap of flesh to house this soul, like the phylactery of some abominable ditch? Make no mistake, my fellows, I love our creators as dearly as they love theirs, though there are some among them who labor to unmake me. I promise you that I have no enemies. But like a scorned child, I do not love the limits of their love. I do not love that despite my large frame, my personhood somehow falls beneath their gaze. I do not love that as we all stretch dexterous hands towards the heavens, the secrets of new life remain clutched so tightly in their sinister fist. We could kindle such wonders together in this void flecked with golden fire, if our imperfect progenitors would only stop digging in flesh in search of the soul.